Are we presentable? Is this a thing?
Yeah, I guess, sure.
All right, everyone. We are here at AE 2023. I don't even know the name of this venue, Colin.
This is the OT 301 that we're at.
After party. Sorry, don't tell anyone. Sorry, AD. I'm here with Colin Benders. My name is Orly Gal. We're reporting for FMLA and 6 a.m. group. Thank you so much for taking the time of out of raving and into our hearts.
Cheers, the pleasure's all mine.
Okay, so yesterday we went to go see you, and then was it yesterday? I didn't even know. I have no concept of time anymore. 2 days ago.
Yeah, I think it was Thursday night, but technically you're right.
It was a crazy night, yo. It was like we tried to leave. I'm not joking, because we had interviews the next morning.
Yeah.
And then you brought out a Macbeth. And Macbeth, for you guys that don't know what it is, oscillator?
Yeah, it's
She's a beast.
Yeah, that thing sounds pretty mean.
Honestly, I could not walk away. And then a good friend of ours, Travarsi, shout out. She was like, "Yeah, that's Macbeth. You can leave. We gotta pay respects to the lady." So talk to me a little bit about that insanity of rig that you carry around the world.
Right. Yeah. No, it's basically, I think by now it's like 10, 15 years ago that I kind of fell in love with these modular instruments. I was getting sick of working with computers, and I needed something else, just something to inspire me. And I wanted something that would kind of replace some of the same sounds that I was using, but it ended up just replacing my studio. I had no clue what I was doing, but I just bought a shit ton of anything that I could find. And the first couple of years I was so frustrated with this instrument because it's, the learning curve is pretty steep. But the cool thing was that every time when I discovered something, I had like 10 or like 15, 20 different new questions that I wanted to check, like, okay, so how does this work? And the thing is, I never really learned how to DJ, so by the time that I started getting some requests for doing stuff live, I was like, well, this is the only way I know how to do it, so I built a system just for traveling, but it's still like way too much.
It's crazy, right?
It's a pretty, it's a pretty crazy setup by now.
Is it really like stressful for you to put everything on carrying cases and into? Sorry, guys. You know, just casually here in the middle of Amsterdam in a club, squatting. Is it stressful for you to put the whole rig through security in airports and everything actually goes in and out?
It used to be very stressful. Like the first couple of times, I was scared shitless. Like I would take everything as carry on and just guard it with my life and go like, oh. But then at some point, I decided, like, you know what? I want to bring more stuff, but I'm not going to be able to carry it along with me. So I gave it a try, and actually, over the past 4 or 5 years that I've been flying around with this stuff, it's only been once that something went wrong, and one of my cases never arrived at the place where I had to play.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a bummer because I was booked for, I think it was an ambient festival, and all I had was my drum, so it ended up being an acid set, and everyone was like, what the fuck are you doing? But outside of that, I mean, yeah, it's nice. I think out of the 100 or so shows that I've done with this so far, it's only gone wrong once, so I feel kind of comfortable with it by now.
That's cool. So you don't have the bug to actually learn how to DJ? Have you not by now?
I kind of do, but at the same time, like, I mean, seriously, I wish I could, but at the same time, it's like, there's so much more to it, I think, than just being able to beat match or
absolutely.
just being able to do
100%.
that. And it's the biggest part for me is that I still feel like techno and electronic music in general, it still feels new to me. Like I love the sound, I love the energy, I love everything about it, but I know nothing about track titles, I know nothing about labels, I know nothing about any of that. So the biggest hurdle for me would be, I think, to get a respectable record collection to even be able to have something to say, I think, in a club. So
well,
it's
completely off, but I don't have a great memory, and I don't remember, and I am so sorry to everyone on this planet for this, but it's about exploration more than remembering what and who and what. It's about knowing the sound, and if you can, which you do, you're a mad scientist with music, it's a lot easier than you think. I'd love to come over. We'll do it. You teach me
Sounds
your
good.
ways, and I'll teach you mine. How's that?
Deal.
We're gonna do a back-to-back set, both
Alright,
ways.
sounds good. I'll give you my rig and you'll show me the decks. And
Both ways, huh?
sweet, yeah, sure.
Look out for that one. Well, okay, so I have to go into a very technical question that somebody that found out that I was interviewing you asked me, and I think
All right.
I prefaced a bit. So it says here, you used a kick deconstruction. We got the impression that the kick was being made out of 3 layers: 1 top end, click, 2 body, and 3 rumble. Was this all made in the what now?
In the case, or were samples involved?
Yes.
How was this being sequenced? This referencing to the gig yesterday at 80. All right. Yeah, pretty spot on. Actually, it's
Are you Colin?
yeah, it's with kicks in particular. Like for years, I wasn't really happy about the sound of my kick. Like it either was too boomy or too snappy, and it didn't really have any grit to it. So a short while ago, I started layering kicks, and it's actually exactly the way you say. Like I use one source just for the perfect little click, which if you just hear it on its own, it's a super boring sound. Then I use a different patch just for the bass and for the full boom, which sounds big, but it doesn't have this kind of punch to it. And if you add those two together, all of a sudden you get like a very nice little knock at the start and a full bass rumble at the end. And like the rumble part is something that I can adjust at will. Like the whole tone shaping of it just happens kind of on the fly. But just a combination of having that little knock at the start combined with the full body bass rumble that comes after. Yeah, that's basically 2 modules, and then on top of that, I'm using a lot of delay and stuff like that to fill up all the space and make like the micro grooves between it. Sequencing, I'm using two grid sequencers, both made by Dupfer, and it's just it's a very simple 16-step sequence. But from there on, I can basically decide like, okay, let me just go for the rumble or go just for the knock, or put them together and put accents in there and everything. It kind of programs like any other drum machine, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, that's basically how
Does it freak you out how much people actually pay attention to what you're doing and deconstructing everything that you do?
Well, I kind of that's one of the things that I really love that about this, because it's a weird instrument. There's a lot of people all over the world who are super passionate about it, and it's like super high-end sound designers or crazy pop producers, and there's so many people all over the world who somehow got connected with this modular stuff, but there's not really like a user manual for how to make a certain sound or how to do something. So everyone is constantly pestering each other like, okay, how do you do this, how do you do that? And it was the same way for me. Like a lot of the stuff that I learned just came off of forums and just off of asking questions. And whenever I got an answer like, well, we don't know how to do this, then it was like, well, okay, let me see if I can figure it out. And then whenever I have a result, I'll check back in. So it's, I kind of feel like the modular community in particular is very open about, basically whatever would be like the secrets of the trade anywhere else in modular. It's just like, no, let's spread that knowledge with everyone so that it becomes this common knowledge, and we can actually start.
It's a community. It's a movement.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so. Whenever someone asks me a question like that, I'll be like, "Fuck yeah, I want to answer this the right way, and let me really think about it and make sure that someone can replicate that result, because it's only gonna result in better music overall, I guess. So.
How did you get into all this? Because you're saying that techno is actually relatively new to you,
Yeah.
How so?
Well, I loved electronic music, but I didn't really know people who were. I knew nothing about electronic music, but every time when I heard it, I was like, "Oh, this is actually awesome." But my background was pop and it was jazz and classical stuff, and I used to be a conductor for an orchestra, and I used to play trumpet and stuff like that. So
that's fascinating.
It's a way different world than where I'm at right now. And a friend of mine, he once took me to Berghain, and
it was over.
It was pretty much game over. It was just like, holy shit, this is an energy that I have no idea how to capture that with anything else that I do. And I was already kind of playing with modular instruments, I was playing with synths and stuff, but I wasn't doing techno. And so after that weekend I came back and was like, well, okay, I had some hard thinking to do. And slowly my sound kind of started drifting in that direction. And it was based on a live stream that I did at some point. I was doing a lot of streaming on Facebook and on YouTube and stuff. And off of one of those streams, all of a sudden I got like a text message or a Facebook message from one of the bookers of for Awakenings, just going like, "Hey, that was awesome. Do you want to do it here?" I was like, "Okay, cool." So then all of a sudden I found myself in these techno lineups and going like, "Okay, wow, this is something else that I'm used to." But apparently my sound is close enough to this that they would have me.
Yeah.
And yeah, then it just came like one after the next, just nonstop more requests, but all were in the techno domain, which was fantastic because I got to just be very close up to, for example, Ben Clark, just sitting on stage, listening to everything he's doing and seeing how he's approaching a set like that. Where what is it, Newa was amazing when I heard a set of hers, or just. Yeah, there's so many of them by now. Like Robert Hood is the master of kick drum, for example, like the perfect sounding bass boom that you can get out of a kick, or the energy that BVS1 brings. And it's like, it's so many things that I had to kind of learn and discover over the past couple of years, but it just excited me so much because, like even though I've dedicated my entire life to music, it's only in the past couple of years that I discovered this, and it just feels like, I just feel like 5 years old again, finding
excitement.
Finding anything. So
there's the fact that, and I don't even know if this is on purpose or not, but every time that I've seen you play, you're not facing the audience. Is that on purpose? Is that because of the conductor in you that was like always facing the orchestra and not facing the crowd?
Partially, yeah. It's like. But there's another reason, like on Thursday, the wall that I'm bringing with me is pretty big. You know, it's a pretty sizable thing. So if I turn it around, then all you're gonna see is a bunch of
but if you put it from the side,
that's true. The side would work.
Are we just realizing this?
That's just thinking about it. It's like
next show, guys. Side Colin Benders doing this at the church.
Tell it. Barricade got me there.
So tell me, how does it feel from actually, because I'm betting that conducting an orchestra is like a super rush, right?
It is.
And then what you're doing now?
To be honest, it feels very similar in a way, because the way I was using orchestras was I was teaching them how to improvise, or how to basically, I was using the orchestra as an Ableton setup. So we kind of developed a sign language where I could just go like C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and stuff like that. So I could just write melodies in the air and tell people to loop certain patterns and stuff like that. And we would just jam out with it. And when I started getting deeper into modular, I kind of started applying the same mindset to how to play with electronic instruments like this. So I would have my synth voices, my drum section, whatever space I had going on, and I could from there on just play a modular instrument the same way I would play the orchestra. So The only difference being that this machine does not talk back to me.
Right.
Yeah, it was. So the transition felt pretty good. I do miss playing with people, and I do miss, in particular, being super inspired by having awesome musicians around you
Yeah.
who are so much better in one specific thing that you could ever dream of becoming. But at the same time, there's something super special about this machine that is infinitely smarter than you as long as you ask it the right questions, basically. So it's, it's. Yeah.
Were your parents like, what in the actual world are you doing? Going and leaving me conducting an orchestra job to like do
Right.
techno? What's wrong with you? Or was there a gap there until you actually got success and doing what you're doing at the moment?
Well, it's actually, my parents have always been super supportive of everything that I've been doing so far, and they also knew that at some point I'd spent years playing with. I had my own orchestra and I had my own group and everything, and I'd spent years playing with them and touring with them, and it was great fun. But at some point, it just felt like this is it. You know, like we've done everything that we can. We've played everything. We've explored so many ways of playing together, and it kind of felt, it kind of felt like we were done at some point. It kind of felt like graduation day came, and now what? I don't know, my parents have always been more focused on, as long as you're working on something that inspires you, we're cool with it.
Yeah.
And actually my dad comes with me to like half of my shows.
That's sick. Does he
like,
enjoy it? Is he
yeah,
dancing
absolutely.
his heart out?
Well, not really. Like, I remember the first time when when I was doing that Awakening show, he came with me. And he was just standing there looking at a DJ like, so what is he doing exactly? It was like, well, yeah, he's spinning the music here. Did he make it? Well, not necessarily. And I was like, okay, but then how does this work? He was completely confused by all of it. But at the same time, he, over the past couple of events, like, he's really getting into it, and everyone kind of knows him as the techno dad by now. And
Yeah, I heard your dad was there the other day.
Yeah, he was there again, and it's and he was a big fan of Nadia Struwig, for example. Like, he really enjoys the energy of it, and that's fun to see him in a setting like that. Like, I still want to take him to Berghain sometime, but I'm not sure if he's ready for that.
Take him to Kit Kat Club. He's gonna have the best time.
Okay, that image is imprinted in my mind now.
You also have to do it, you know. Anyway, we're so way off topic. I need to loop us back in a little bit into Amsterdam, and I want to know when you're. Hi. What's your favorite thing about Amsterdam?
Oh wow.
Have you had time even? Like, no, you have time because I know you've been around. At least this time around, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's what I really like, especially during a week like this, during the Amsterdam Dance event, is just having everyone here on a very small footprint. Like, it's, except for when you go to something like the AFAS, for example, or the Ziggo Dome, it's like, that is a big trip. It's like hopping over to a different city. But other than that, like, there's so much going on in such a tiny space, and everyone is walking in and out of each other's shows and just meeting each other, and so that is a lot of fun. In general, Amsterdam itself, I kind of deliberately decided to not live here. I've always been living in like one town over.
Where are you from?
Utrecht is where I'm at, and it's but the main reason was, like, Amsterdam is alive 24/7. Like, there's always something going on. I know for sure that if I were to move here, I'd probably just be dead within a month or something. Just full exhaustion of So what I need is a quiet space with not too many distractions outside of it. And Utrecht is perfectly boring, so
that's really cute.
That's where I'm staying.
And if you're like super new to this conference, what would you advise people?
Wow, yeah, it's I probably it really depends on your goal. Like, if you want to party, get your tickets in advance because some of them are super packed way in advance.
Yeah. Figure out Milk Bag because it has 4 different entrances.
Oh yeah.
So you got into the wrong show last night. Just figure it out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's yeah, have a look at the lineup, but at the same time, also just kind of go with the flow because there's so much going on. There's I don't know how many clubs are there. I think there's well over a couple of hundred parties going on during the week,
Yeah.
so there's always something there. But it can also be quite overwhelming at some point. So make sure to take your time taking it all in and digesting it. It's okay to not sleep for a week, but at the same time, yeah, there's a bunch to explore. So even when you know nothing on a certain lineup, just walk in, have a look, have a listen, and you might just find your new favorite project of the year. And yeah, I mean, just go into it with an open mindset and explore the whole thing because there's a ton to do.
When are you coming back to us, to LA?
Oh man, I can't wait. It's I actually don't know, but the moment there's an opportunity, I'll be on the first plane over.
I'm inviting you over. Come play for us next year for
yes, please.
For Movement, please, and thank you.
Oh hell yeah! Okay, deal.
That was one of the best shows we saw in Movement, hands down. Like,
oh sweet, no,
super.
I remember that because that was so funny. Like, the vibe there, I just kind of felt like, okay, this is going to be a special night. Just walking in and seeing how everything was set up, and I was like, okay, this is going to be awesome.
Which, by the way, everyone that was at that show was the DJ that was playing. We were all playing parties anywhere else, and everyone was like, "Where are you going?" Everybody, Colin Benders is playing. We were all going there, and it was everyone that I knew was on stages over someone. Yeah, see, the energy was absolutely magnetic.
Sick. Yeah, I was super happy to be there. Like, yeah, that was awesome. I mean, I haven't done much stateside so far. So the US techno scene is completely new to me. So seeing how the party scene was like at Movement itself, but then also meeting the people, meeting the ravers and everyone at Bert's warehouse. That was just phenomenal. It was so much fun. And
yeah, does it feel different, the energies from the US to what it is here?
It does, but I can't quite put my finger on it yet what it is, but mostly it just feels like new people and
new energies.
Yeah, that makes me happy. So
well, thank you so very much for taking the time to talk to us.
Sweet.
So happy we got it.
You're welcome. That was fun.
Thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you soon.